Forest's first game at home back in a European competition, and it ends with fans leaving early. An absolute nightmare in the Europa League. And Big Ange, he already looks down. He already looks dejected, defeated. And where does the blame lie when it comes to the appointment of Ange Postecoglou at Nottingham Forest? Is it Edu, the new director of football, the man that reportedly fell out with Nuno Espirito Santo? Does it lie with Marinakis, the owner? It's the connection between Ange and himself, the two Greeks or Greek Australians in terms of Ange Postecoglou. Where does the blame lie for the mess that Nottingham Forest find themselves in at the moment? It is truly shocking. What is it, 6 games now that Big Ange has been in charge? Barely 3 weeks. But when you break it down, it does not look like this is going to end in any way like the fairy tale finish that Ange got in the Europa League for Tottenham last season. He may win a trophy in his second season if he's given the opportunity to be there, but it could be down in the Championship. Yes, I am saying Big Ange Postecoglou, Impostecoglou, will get Nottingham Forest relegated if he is left in charge at the City ground. Many Forest fans, I'm sure, will point to the fact that they created so many chances. 22 shots yesterday evening against Midtjylland, 9 on target. This is Midtjylland, a Danish team. With no disrespect, they had about 600 fans that travelled yesterday evening. They are a small club. Forest have spent a whopping £180 million in the summer. And yes, the majority of those signings are not Ange Postecoglou signings. But I believe that from the outside, Ange Postecoglou was consulted on the signings made by Edu and Marinakis, because I believe that Nuno's time was already up and they just needed to agree terms with Ange first. It's not good enough. He is inept as a manager. Yes, he is great going forward. He is like the Harlem Globetrotters when it comes to football. But ultimately, football is not about how many goals you can score. It's about so much more than that. It's how you set your team up. It's how you adjust in those moments when you may go a goal down. It's how you adjust when you get yourself back into the game. It's how you close games out. It's the substitutions and tactics you deploy during a game. These are all things that Ange Postecoglou as a manager fails in. And you've seen the likes of Ruben Amorim being called out, that he's a laughing stock. Look what he's doing to Manchester United. Fans saying he should be sacked. Why? Because he's willing to die on his sword for playing one formation, one style of play only. What's the difference between Amorim and Ange Postecoglou? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Ange Postecoglou sat in his post-match press conference following the loss and said he sees good things. I'm sure he does. But results don't lie, Ange. Are you trying to pull the wool over the Forest fans' eyes? Come out, sure. Come out and say, we did this, we did that. But once again, it's another loss. 4 defeats, 2 draws. And it's the manner of those defeats. I think the only one you can exclude is against Arsenal. He'd had a training session and a half at best in that game. But the warning signs were already there, because in his pre-match press conference against Arsenal, when you go back to the very first game, he talked about the fact that he'd already tried to implement some new things different from Nuno. And I appreciate, Forest fans, that there is a complete difference between the way that Nuno played, or the Forest under Nuno, and the Forest under Ange. But I'm telling you now, and I'd love to know your opinions down in the comments, I am sure you would do anything to have Nuno back in charge at Nottingham Forest. He may not have been the most exciting of managers, but he had your most successful period at the club in a very long time, guiding them, to 7th in the league. You know, they're now in the Europa League this season. That is because of Nuno, not because of Marinakis, not because of Edu. Marinakis got too big for his boots. It started to go wrong in that draw against Leicester. Marinakis got himself far too involved. And that involvement by Marinakis has led to the appointment of a manager that is only going one way with Nottingham Forest. That is not up the league, that is down the league. And it's a travesty when you look at the squad that is being built at Nottingham Forest. This is a team that should be going up the league, not down it. The fixtures coming up, the next 5 or 6, I'll come to those in just a moment's time as well. But it is an absolute disgrace. And going on to tonight's game, obviously, Midtjylland took the lead. And fair play to Forest, they reacted and Doy got them level within a few minutes. But in classic Ange Postecoglou style, where is the tactic at the point of getting them level? Where is the tactic at that point of just saying, right, let's keep it compact for the next 5-10 minutes and then we can go again? No. 2 minutes after scoring, you're behind again. And then you're chasing the game. And it's 3-1 and the Forest fans leave. The boos at full time. Chris Wood obviously scores a late penalty, definitely a penalty as well. No complaints about that. The boos for Ange Postecoglou. I can't think of a manager that has been booed, and rightly so. I'm not criticising Nottingham Forest fans here. They pay a lot of money to watch their team. They've been treated to some very good football in the last 18 months or so. But I cannot think of a manager that has been treated the way he is now being treated after only 6 games. And that's 3 weeks in charge. Less than a month. And he deserves it. He truly deserves it. You know, where is the brain capacity when it comes to Ange Postecoglou to say, right, there is a huge difference. It's chalk and cheese between the way Nuno played and the way I played. Where is I've learnt from this from my time at Tottenham, where he died on his sword and took Spurs to 17th in the league? Where is the learning of I'm gonna implement the Ange Postecoglou way? That is fine. But I'm gonna first make us hard to beat. You know, I'm gonna make us a little bit more compact. No, this is exactly the same Ange Postecoglou that guided Spurs to 17th. And yes, Forest fans may say, yeah, he won the Europa League as well. He did. In a competition from a Spurs perspective that saw them play Bodo Glimt in a semi-final and a woeful Manchester United that couldn't score goals last season. And look where they are this year. They're no better than where they are, and they've spent 200 million this summer. Tell me, Forest fans as well, when you look at the fixtures coming up, it's an away trip to Newcastle next. They're buoyed by the win against Union SG in the Champions League. They've had an extra day's recovery as well. Then it's Chelsea at the City Ground. Now, Chelsea haven't been amazing, but you feel that they've got enough to beat Forest. Porto in Europe at home. It's a big game. It's a huge game. Bournemouth away. If we focus mainly on the Premier League, Bournemouth away. Then it's Manchester United at home. Leeds at home. Liverpool away. I'm looking at that and saying, at best 6 points. At best 6 points. Possibly 3 or 4. And it could be as bad as 2. It really could. You know, that would take Ange to around 12, 15 games in charge of Nottingham Forest. And probably collectively 6, 7, 8 points. It's not good enough. He's not, and the problem is Ange Postecoglou is not going to change. He said he's not going to change. This is his style of football. This is the way he plays the game. It's the way he visualizes the game. You know, and the problem is if that is the way that he visualizes this game of football, that's fine. Marinakis and Edu knew what they were signing up for. As I said, is a Harlem Globetrotter manager. Attack, attack, attack. Where is the defence of Ange Postecoglou now, though? That is the question. And when you see him, he walked back into the building when he was appointed manager. He looked fresh. You know, he had some colour back in his skin, clearly been sitting on the beaches. Good luck to him, you know, without a job at the time. His chest was pushed out. He looked confident. 6 games in, it is the Ange Postecoglou that left Tottenham Hotspur, looking down at the ground, mumbling his way through press conferences. If you're confident, Ange, in your position and how you play the game, then push your fucking chest out. Talk to the camera. Talk to the people. Because it is the Forest fans that are left questioning where the club is now going. Marinakis doesn't take rubbish. You know, and I'm sure right now he's got his tail between his legs. But how does he act now? Because we know how he is behind the scenes. We saw how he is last season. Does he sit down with Ange and say it's got to change? I can see him losing his shit. I really can see Ange Postecoglou in a lot of trouble with Marinakis. It's very much the headmaster versus the pupil when it comes to how Marinakis treats his managers. And I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled the trigger and sacked him. If you lose heavily to Nottingham Forest on Sunday, and I can see you losing heavily, I wouldn't be surprised if Marinakis sacked him and said, I ain't paying you any compensation either. Take me to court. It'll be the end of Ange in England, that's for sure. No one will touch him as manager going forward. It's shocking. And Ange can look at and say, you know, I saw that we're very close to playing the way that I want us to play. We created lots of chances. Well done. Football teams are supposed to create chances, but you're also supposed to stop the opposition from creating chances, Ange. And I am just so shocked that he has not learned from his days at Tottenham Hotspur. Guys, let me know down in the comments. I really, really want you guys to get involved in this one. I will respond to every comment. Call me out if you think I'm wrong. Call me out if you think that Ange should be given plenty more time and that they've got to be patient for Ange Postecoglou. Forest fans, are you genuinely concerned about the fact that that Forest seems to be going one way? It's 2 draws and 4 defeats in the 3 weeks that he's been in charge. What do you make of the calls, the Forest fans singing for Nuno in that game, the boos at the end of the end of the game? This was supposed to be romance of football, a dream, European football back at the City Ground. It was anything but. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you drop a like on this video. Make sure you're subscribing to the Footy Social Club. I'll catch you on the next one.